Hello, everybody. Oops, sorry. Hello, everybody. This is a short lesson on how to connect to a remote database server. It's a very primitive method that uses the command line. Uh, we'll learn more convenient methods soon, but the command line method is a kind of a fail-safe option to use when other methods simply aren't available. So you're going to be working from your terminal, and you're going to be connecting to a remote server that is located at Smith University at Smith College in Massachusetts. It's set up by Ben Vollmer, one of the authors of our textbook. The way that you're going to access this server is through a client program on the RStudio server. The relevant command being mysql. So that's the name for the the mysql database system. But strictly speaking, we'll find out that what our RStudio server has is a MariaDB client. It just tries to track MySQL very closely in syntax. So with your terminal open, and I've got mine shown over here on the right where I'm waving my mouse, you're going to enter, first of all, this command. Let's copy and paste. The MySQL server client is always working when you open up, when you log into RStudio. And as you can see, it's version 5.5 of the MariaDB's client, which does a perfectly good job of hooking up to pretty much any version of a MySQL server. Okay, we're going to next log in to that remote server at Smith College, again using the mysql command, but the option for the host is being set to scydb.smith.edu, so that's the URL for that remote server. There's a guest user, and we're setting the option for who the guest user is. The guest user is called MTH292 for Math 292, I suppose. And the -P switch is indicating that we're going to type in our password once we connect to that server. So we copy, paste, and get down to the console and into the terminal and run. We have made it to the server, and it wants our password. And the password is remember pi. I've just typed that in, press enter, and I can tell that I made it in because I get a little welcome message. Okay. Now, it's not good practice to to hard code in passwords to files and things, but this is just a guest account on this server, basically for folks in classes that use it. So I feel okay about it. But for real production servers in business and industry, you're going to need to store passwords in a more secure way. Okay, so we notice that Ben has got still version 5.5 of MySQL running this database system. That's okay. We'll be able to talk to it pretty well, even though the current version of MySQL is 8.0, I believe. Okay, now that we're on the server here, notice the prompt has changed a bit from because we're not really talking now to our to our operating system. We're talking to that server. So let's ask it to show what databases it has for us. So notice that these MySQL commands are always terminated by a semicolon. Let's run this. So quite a few fun databases. why don't we just use airlines? Okay, so we've switched our focus from no database to the airlines database. Why don't we now show tables? And we'll see the tables that are available in the airlines database, and they are the familiar airports, carriers, flights, planes, and weather, and there's also a summary table. Let's just see if we can describe flights. Here we go. So the output was a bit too much to fit all along horizontally. We can change that. Here we go. So quite a few variables in the flights data table, as we have come to expect. Okay, we can, oops, sorry. I seem to have accidentally logged myself out. And that means I broke my connection and all of that. That is just too bad. So I'm going to have to log myself in again. Oh, and I'm not even on the terminal. Arg. Here we go. Oh, brought me back. How nice. Didn't think I would be still have my connection. So we can run any query that we like. It is a good idea to type your queries in to a file and then copy and paste. But you really could you could type in the commands, and if you enter like a new line, say after this part of the query, then the client will kind of prompt you for more information until you finally enter the closing semicolon. Let's watch how that works if I were to copy in the whole thing. Control C, now paste. So you'll see these forward arrows are indicating that the command's not complete. Now I've got the semicolon, and I enter that query, and I see that there were 258 flights originating from the JFK Airport in New York City on March 14th, 2015. Another more complex query might be this one, where we're going to arrange, we're going to find out the top 10 destinations for flights from JFK in the year 2016. And so I'm just going to run this much of the query, get that into mysql, and I'll say that I'm done with the semicolon, and let's see what it gives us. So there we go. The top destination was the LAX airport in Los Angeles with 12,563 flights, leaving JFK to LAX in 2016. Now you might, once you start making some queries, you might be wondering, like, how can I preserve the results? And if you look on the web, you see that you could export results into, for example, a CSV file using the into out file command in MySQL, and then in quotes, you would just indicate the path to the CSV file that you would like to create. So, you might think this will work. Let's give it a try. And you get an error, access denied for this user. The reason for that error is that the into out file command assumes that you're working on a local database, that you're talking with a local database. And so what's happening is that Ballmer's server is trying to write a file, trying to write to a file on its own home directory, and we don't have permissions to make that happen from where we are. So that's not going to work for us. There are ways. There are ways to do it, but they require a lot of tricky shell work. And you can look at the URL that I provide here for a suggestion. But frankly, this shows some of the limitations and inconveniences of a terminal-based method for talking to a remote database server. So we'll be looking at some other methods that are afforded to us by the R language. I'm ready to terminate my connection to the remote database. So I'll say exit semicolon, and it tells me bye, and I'm back to my terminal. See you soon. And I should point out this: the client.sql is going to be available to you on the server under the documents folder, and you can practice with it at your leisure. Okay, bye-bye.